If you successfully and systematically document the impact you have on others and the organization, you are ahead of 50% of the workforce. But if you miss the compound effect, you will sit in the middle of the bell curve with 200 plus applicants for a job whose resumes will never see the light of day. Turns out, companies are quietly rewriting the promotion playbook in 2025. When you translate your impact into business value, you're speaking the language of decision makers. That's when career opportunities start to multiply. If it doesn't make money, it doesn't make sense to executives. Let me ask you something. What's more valuable, being great at your job or making everyone around you better at theirs? Turns out, companies are quietly rewriting the promotion playbook in 2025. Yeah, I know, they're always rewriting, moving the goalposts, dangling the carrot. But here's the inside scoop. Your next raise isn't hiding in your to-do list. It's in how you elevate everyone else's performance, whether that's on your resume or not. I'm not here with theory. I've lived this transformation myself. Early in my career, I was stuck in the same cycle you might be in today, working harder and not moving up. Then I discovered what actually gets you noticed. This exact framework took me from being overlooked to having teams compete for my services. And I got it from the basketball court. But more on that later. You're currently living through the great workplace reshuffle. Companies aren't just measuring what you do anymore. They're measuring who you make better. Today, I'm going to do a complete step-by-step breakdown of strategy for the Productivity Multiplier Framework. This is from the Career Advancement Series, the 10 strategies that I covered on 2 videos, so go check that out if you haven't already. It's the exact system my clients use to get recognized even when they're not the loudest voice in the room. And they use it on their exits as well. If you want to learn more about how to use this exact strategy when you exit a company, let me know in the comments and I'll be sure to do a video on that in the future. But before we jump into this strategy, this in-depth breakdown, here's your instant advantage. Start capturing helped emails. Anytime someone thanks you for assistance, file that away. That's your raw material for your impact story. Now, let's get into the Productivity Multiplier Framework. It consists of 3 powerful steps that will transform how your value is perceived. Step 1, the team impact documentation. There are 2 key parts to the team impact documentation. First, you need to systematically track how you've improved others' performance, even if you're not their manager. Think of this like a basketball player. You guys know I'm a coach. You're not just counting the points you scored, but you're counting the assists, the screens that you set to get your teammates open for shots, the help defense when your teammate gets beat. I really hope my basketball team is listening as I'm talking about this. It's not just about the shots that you take and the points that you score. And it's the same thing in the workplace. Start by gathering examples and testimonials from your colleagues. This isn't bragging, this is evidence. For example, an individual contributor on a marketing team could document how their template creation saved each team member 3 hours weekly. That's 15 hours weekly productivity boost across the entire team. The key word, if you missed it, is systematically. If you don't have a system, you'll forget and devalue the small, the medium, and the big impact that you make. I always had a folder that I labeled PB on my Outlook email while I was in corporate America, which just stood for personal business. Anytime I received an email that had a thank you for X, I filed it in my PB folder. This was simple, easy, and when I needed to update my resume, prepare for an evaluation, or interview, I could grab those wins from that PB folder anytime I needed. How would I take this a step further today? I would forward the email to myself that I want to file and put a dollar value, time saved or a process improved, money saved, some type of quantifiable metric that translates to executive language. If it doesn't make money, it doesn't make sense to executives, which leads us directly to the second piece, the compound effect calculator. The next part of the team impact documentation is to calculate the compound effect of all of your improvements. If your process improvement saved 5 minutes per task, and that task is done 20 times daily by 8 people, that's 13 plus hours of productivity created weekly over 650 hours annually. The key is shifting from I completed X tasks to I enabled X results across the team. If you successfully and systematically document the impact you have on others and the organization, you are ahead of 50% of the workforce. But if you miss the compound effect, you will sit in the middle of the bell curve with 200 plus applicants for a job whose resumes will never see the light of day. The compound effect moves you to the 10% of the bell curve. That's where you unlock the cheat code to the video game called Call of Duty Resume Ops. Impact is your mission and visibility is your weapon. That's the two key elements of building your team impact documentation. 1, systematically track how you improve the team, and number 2, calculate the compound effect of your improvements. Now it's time for step 2, the ripple effect report. Now we expand beyond your immediate team to showcase your contributions scaled throughout the organization. This is like dropping a stone in a pond. There's an initial splash at the very beginning. The real impact comes from the expanding ripples when you throw that stone. You want to document secondary benefits of your initiatives. For instance, if your customer service improvement reduced support tickets by 15%, you want to track how that allowed the product team to focus on new features instead of fixes. It's all about thinking beyond the initial impact of what you do. Think about cross-functional teams. Think upstream about your contribution impacting others' efforts for the overall result of the organization. Next, you need to tell the story by creating a visual map of your influence. This becomes extraordinarily powerful in performance reviews and job interviews because it shows you think beyond your job description. Here's an example. A recruiter created a simple diagram showing how they improved the time to fill by 13%, which is the equivalent of 27 days. This improved sales by 8% and sales by $276,000. This also helped to reduce shrink in the market by 5% for that same period. Overall employee satisfaction went up by 16% annually. Drawing a visual map for the problem, which in this case is a job opening that was taking a long time to fill on average, also improved sales, shrink, and employee satisfaction. You hit the jackpot. It increases the value of your role's output, and it tells the impact story you want on your resume, LinkedIn, during interviews, and evaluations. Now it's time for step 3, the value transformation formula. Here's where most professionals drop the ball. Like in basketball, this would be a turnover that could cost you a championship. They don't convert their impact into a language executives understand, which is numbers and dollars, the only language they truly understand. You are going to create what I call the value translation formula for each major contribution. Start with a skill or an innovation you provided, connect it to a measurable business metric, then translate it into financial terms. Instead of saying, I improved our customer response process, you'll say, my communication framework reduced customer resolution time by 37%, which decreased churn by 3.2%, translating to approximately $157,000 retained annual revenue. And even if you don't have exact figures, make reasonable underestimates. You could say my documentation saved each team member approximately 2 hours weekly, equating to roughly $24,000 in productivity gains based on average salaries. When you translate your impact into business value, you're speaking the language of decision makers. That's when career opportunities start to multiply. When I heard this done on an international scale in 2008-2009, it changed the way I talked about everything that I did. Saving a company thousands, millions, or increasing profit by thousands of millions, it hits different because it's different. And that's exactly what you need in this shaky job market. You don't want to blend in. You want to be different. Now wait, hang on a second. I can already see the messages coming in. Yeah, but my position is solo work. Listen, I hear you. I was that person. In fact, this framework, it's almost unfairly effective for individual contributors. Here's where everyone gets it twisted. They're busy listing personal wins while the promotion candidates are showing how they make the entire system work better for the organization. Which story do you think gets the corner office? In that 2008-2009 experience for me, I was in an individual contributor role, and it changed my life. Now let's break down exactly what you have to do starting today to build your productivity multiplier evidence. First, create a simple impact tracker. Keyword simple. List your projects in one column and then add columns for people impacted, time saved per person, quality improvement, and most importantly, business outcome enhanced. Second, start collecting testimonials systematically. You can use a folder in your email like I did or on your laptop. After helping someone, send a quick follow-up. Say, I'm glad that that solution worked out for you. Would you mind sharing specifically how it helped you in your work? Then save the responses. Third, redesign your performance updates. Instead of, I completed Project X on time, instead you're going to write, delivered Project X, which enabled sales teams to increase conversion by a Y percentage. Avoid this common pitfall of only tracking your direct responsibilities. Your greatest value often comes from your unofficial contributions that makes others successful. I tell my basketball teams this all the time. Your energy and attitude around your teammates is where true value and success lies. Now let's get real for a second. Your competition is still playing checkers, listing tasks, projects, and responsibilities. You're about to go play chess by mapping out how you make everybody else's moves more powerful. Every excuse you're thinking right now, I've heard it. My boss doesn't notice. My role is too technical. My industry doesn't work like that. Trust me, I've got receipts proving otherwise. If you're not going to document and celebrate your work and how it impacts others, who will? You are waiting to get noticed. You already know that that strategy doesn't work. Start your impact tracking today, not tomorrow, not when it's convenient. The gap between where you are right now and where you deserve to be is just documenting and communicating the value. It's vital to complement this strategy with at least one other strategy. So check out the video on screen to select a second strategy to advance your career. And until next time, I love you.